Listen closely, because the reality I am about to describe is going to dismantle every romantic delusion you have held onto for the last 30 years. You are a man who has conquered mountains. You have built businesses, navigated divorces, accumulated wealth, and survived the brutal competition of the male hierarchy. You look at a younger woman, perhaps 20 years your junior, and you see a reward. You see vitality, beauty, and a chance to feel alive again. You tell yourself that because you have resources, experience, and wisdom, you hold the power in the dynamic. This is your first and most fatal mistake. In the realm of dark psychology, power is not held by the person who pays the bills. Power is held by the person who cares the least, and biologically, psychologically, and evolutionarily, she is wired to care less about you than you care about her. You are entering a game of asymmetric warfare where your logic is useless against her biological imperatives. If you do not understand the 10 dark truths I am about to reveal, you are not just dating. You are actively participating in your own destruction. Let's strip away the modern fairy tales and look at the cold, hard data of evolutionary biology. The first truth is that your relationship is a transaction, and you are on the losing side of the depreciation curve. Dark psychology dictates that all human interactions are driven by self-interest. For a younger woman, her primary biological asset is her youth and fertility, a depreciating asset that loses value every single day. Your primary asset is your status, security, and resources, an appreciating asset that grows with time. She is keenly, instinctively aware that she is trading her peak years for your accumulated survival value. This is hypergamy. It is not gold digging in the insult sense. It is a survival strategy hardwired into her DNA over millions of years. The danger for you lies in the romantic delusion. You believe she loves you for your soul, your humor, or your personality. While those things may help, they are not the foundation. The foundation is your utility. The moment your utility, your ability to provide a lifestyle she cannot access with men her own age, falters, the attraction dissipates. You are renting her youth with your security. This is dangerous because you are likely falling in love with her being, her beauty, her presence, while she is in love with your doing what you can do for her. If you stop doing, she stops feeling. You must accept that you are a utility object in her narrative of survival. If you act like a simp and give her everything without requiring respect in return, you lower your value. You must understand that you are the prize because you have the resources. But if you treat her like the prize solely because she is young, you invert the dynamic and hand her the weapon to destroy you. This is not just psychology. This is neuroscience. The human brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex, the CEO of the brain responsible for impulse control, long-term planning, and consequence analysis, does not fully develop until age 25. If you are dating a woman under this age, or even a woman in her late 22nd who has been shielded from reality, you are operating on entirely different operating systems. You live in future time orientation. You think about 5 years from now, about compounding interest, about reputation, about health consequences. She lives in present hedonism. This creates a psychological abyss. When she feels an emotion, to her, that emotion is the absolute truth in that moment. If she feels angry, she destroys the room. If she feels bored, she creates drama. She is incapable of fully processing the long-term consequences of her actions the way you are. You will find yourself exhausted, trying to use logic to explain why her impulsive spending or her reckless behavior is bad. You are speaking logic. She is speaking emotion. They do not translate. Dark psychology warns us, You cannot reason a person out of a position they did not reason themselves into. You will try to fix her thinking, but you can't fix biology. You become her father, her warden, and her buzzkill, while the guys her own age, who are also impulsive and reckless, feel fun to her. You are fighting a neurological war you cannot win. Many older men explicitly seek out younger women who seem to crave a strong older male figure, often due to a complex relationship with their own fathers. You think this is your advantage. You think, I will be the stable rock she never had. This is the Captain Save-A-Ho complex, and it is a trap. The dark psychology truth is this. She seeks the structure of a father, but she rebels against the authority of one. It is a paradox that drives men insane. She wants you to pay the bills like a father, protect her like a father, and solve her problems like a father. But the moment you try to exercise the authority of a father by telling her no, by setting a curfew, by criticizing her toxic friends, by demanding respect, she violently rebels. She projects all her unresolved childhood trauma onto you. You become the target of 20 years of resentment she holds toward her real father. She will test your boundaries incessantly to see if you will break. If you break and become emotional, she loses respect for you because you are weak. If you stay firm and enforce rules, she calls you controlling and abusive. You are walking a tightrope where you must provide the safety of a parent, but are treated with the disrespect of a rebellious teenager. It is a lose-lose scenario, unless you remain completely emotionally detached. This is the most dangerous manipulation tactic in existence, and younger women use it instinctively. It is called intermittent reinforcement. In behavioral psychology, we know that the strongest addiction is not formed by consistent rewards, but by unpredictable ones. If a gambler won every time, he would get bored. If he lost every time, he would quit. But because he wins sometimes, he becomes a slave to the machine. A younger woman, driven by her own emotional chaos, will subject you to this. One day, she is the sweetest, most affectionate, adoring partner you have ever dreamed of. Love bombing. She makes you feel like a king. The next day, for no apparent reason, she is cold, distant, disrespectful, or silent. The pull away. Your brain, accustomed to the high of the good days, goes into panic mode. You start working harder, spending more, apologizing for things you didn't do, just to get that high back. You become addicted to the relationship because it is unstable. She keeps you off balance. If you were stable and boring, she might leave. But because she is chaotic, you become obsessed. You are the rat in the lab pressing the lever, hoping for a pellet of affection while she controls the schedule. This rewires your brain chemistry, increasing your cortisol and dopamine, effectively turning you into a drug addict, where she is the drug. In previous generations, if you had a beautiful young wife, you competed with the local men in your town. Today, you are competing with the entire world. A 2-3-year-old woman in 2025 carries a device in her pocket that provides her with instantaneous, global validation, 24/7. This is digital triangulation. Even if she is technically faithful, she is receiving a constant dopamine drip of attention from hundreds of men who are younger, fitter, or richer than you in her DMs. This distorts her reality. She believes her market value is infinitely high because of the volume of attention she receives. When you have a disagreement, she doesn't have to sit with the discomfort and resolve it with you. She can simply open Instagram and have 50 simps tell her she is a queen and that you don't deserve her. This destroys her ability to compromise. Why should she compromise with you when she has an army of digital orbiters validating her toxicity? You are not just fighting for her heart. You are fighting against an algorithm designed to maximize her narcissism. She always has a plan B, a plan C, and a generic exit strategy lined up on her phone. You are replaceable in her mind because the internet tells her there is always someone better just a swipe away. There is a metaphysical concept in dark psychology that you must understand: energy transference. Youth is vibrant but directionless. Age is structured but calcifying. In a healthy relationship, this is a fair exchange. But in a toxic age gap dynamic, she becomes an energy vampire. She lacks an internal core identity. She is still figuring out who she is, so she feeds off your certainty and your emotions. She will subconsciously manufacture drama just to feel the rush of your adrenaline. She will create crises to watch you solve them. She will drain your financial resources not just for the objects, but for the rush of power she feels when she makes you spend. Look at older men in these toxic relationships. They age rapidly. Within 2 years, they look 10 years older. Their testosterone drops. Their stress spikes. Their business focus collapses. Meanwhile, she looks more beautiful, more vibrant, more glowing. She is feeding on your life force. You are the battery, and she is the machine running at full capacity. If you do not erect massive boundaries, she will siphon every ounce of your energy until you are a husk, and then she will leave you because you are no longer fun. This is the trap of the older man's ego. You look at her a rough diamond, beautiful but unrefined, perhaps from a difficult background, and you think, I can save her, I can mold her, I will teach her about wine, about culture, about finance, about how to be a high-value woman. This is the Pygmalion myth. You believe that if you invest enough money, time, and mentorship into her, she will transform into the perfect partner who is eternally grateful to you. This is a lie. Dark psychology reveals that humans inherently resent those who try to change them, even if the change is for the better. By constantly trying to fix her, you are establishing a dynamic where you are the teacher and she is the student. This kills sexual polarity. She doesn't want to sleep with her professor. She wants to sleep with a man. Furthermore, once she has absorbed your lessons, upgraded her style, fixed her teeth, and learned how to move in high society all on your dime, she will realize she has outgrown you. She will take the upgraded version of herself that you built, and she will go give that version to a guy her own age who didn't have to do any of the work. You are building a house that another man is going to live in. One of the most subtle forms of manipulation used by younger women is weaponized incompetence. This is where she pretends to be helpless, confused, or too young to understand in order to avoid accountability or labor. She will say, I don't know how to handle these bills, or I didn't know that was disrespectful. I'm just 22. She uses her youth as a shield to deflect responsibility. But notice the contradiction. She is never too young to manipulate you into a trip to Dubai. She is never too confused to track your location or snoop through your phone. She possesses selective competence. She plays the dumb, helpless girl because she knows it triggers your biological instinct to protect and provide. You end up doing everything: the planning, the paying, the thinking, the apologizing, the emotional heavy lifting. You become her servant, disguised as her savior. She outsources all the adulting to you, leaving her free to remain a carefree adolescent. This breeds resentment in you, but you feel guilty expressing it because she's just young. That guilt is the mechanism of her control. You must understand the concept of hypergamous monkey branching. In the wild, a monkey does not let go of the current branch until it has a firm, secure grip on the next one. In the dating market, you are the current branch. You provide the stability, the home, the resources. But because she is at her peak physical value, she is constantly scanning the horizon for a better deal. The better deal might be a man who is just as rich as you, but 10 years younger. Or a man who is more famous. Or simply a man who is new and offers a different kind of excitement. The novelty of your wealth wears off. Once she has normalized the lifestyle you provide, she gets bored. But she won't leave you immediately. That would be risky. She will secure the next target while still sleeping in your bed. She will start fights to justify her emotional distance. She will rewrite history, telling her friends and the new guy that you are controlling or toxic to justify her betrayal. By the time she actually breaks up with you, she has been emotionally gone for 6 months. You are left falling to the ground. She swings to the next branch without a single scratch. The final and most brutal truth is solipsism. In dark psychology, this refers to the state where a person feels that only their own internal reality exists. For many younger women in these dynamics, reality is defined exclusively by their emotions. If she feels you are the villain, then you are the villain, regardless of the facts. If she feels she deserves half your assets because she gave you her best years, then she believes it is moral to take them, regardless of who earned the money. When the relationship ends, do not expect a rational closure talk. Do not expect her to honor the years of sacrifice you made. The discard phase is cold, absolute, and terrifying. Because she has high mate value, she can replace you instantly. This speed of replacement will traumatize you if you aren't ready for it. She can be in love with you on Monday and posting a photo with a new guy on Friday. To her, you were an NPC, non-player character, in the movie of her life. Your role was benefactor. The scene is over. She has cut the scene. The lack of empathy you will witness during the breakup isn't a glitch. It's a feature of her survival strategy. She must dehumanize you to justify moving on so quickly. If you do not learn these truths, you will be left broken, bankrupt, and wondering what happened, while she doesn't even remember your middle name.